Okay, so yesterday I got the Iconoclast title, and I am also done with all the red borders and triumphs for Salvation's Edge. So I'm done with the raid. It's over. I'll probably run it multiple times in the future, but for all intents and purposes, I'm just done with the raid. And so normally what I would do is make like a title guide, you know how it goes, but it would literally be like, hey, look up a guide on how to do the challenge and look up a guide on how to do this challenge. It just, I don't know, it didn't really feel appropriate, and there are like 20 guides for each of these things out there. So if you're really going for the title, which is probably going to be the rarest raid title, if I had to guess, you know, you can go find those if you really want. But I thought what would be really cool instead of that is to go through and kind of give my thoughts on the raid itself and how it's aged, because I felt really good about the raid when it first launched. The day one experience was incredible, and you know, we've had it now for a month and a half, and I've done it 30 times, and I have everything, and we solved all the puzzles, and I thought it would be cool to kind of go through and do a little mini retrospective about the raid and how I'm feeling about it now that I'm essentially done with it. So that's what we're going to be doing, and I'm pretty excited. I think overall, like, I feel like this raid has aged very well for me. All the loot is interesting in its own right. I know some people aren't that interested in like the armor. I really like when Bungie picks a theme and they go for it. You know, I'd much rather something kind of weird than something uninspired, I guess. So while I'll probably not be using a lot of this armor myself, I'm glad that it wasn't just something boring. Like, you know, you see people using this helmet, they probably have it worked into their build in a really interesting way, and I think that's kind of cool. I do wish we got like a witness head smoke effect. I think that would have been, I mean, honestly, how did we not get that? That seems like really low-hanging fruit. I don't know. Feel like we should have got that. But the armor's cool. A lot of the weapons are interesting in their own right. You know, we have legendary Trinity Ghoul. We have one of, if not the best sword in the game, which is pretty sick. I love the way they did adept weapons this time, even though I'm not really a huge adept weapon fan. Getting more perks, the more weapon patterns you unlock is pretty sick. I think that's kind of cool. I only really have two small nitpicks with the raid, and I'm going to save those for the end. And I just kind of want to talk about my experience now. So, you know, we've been doing the raid every week. I've done low mans of some of the encounters, and we've had a lot of fun. I think the encounters themselves, it's kind of hard to put into words. This is a very heavy, like, tedious raid, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I still consider this probably to be like the pinnacle of raids in Destiny, the franchise, in terms of what a raid experience can be, in that journey, and that, you know, not necessarily competition, but the experience. It is a very raid, you know? If you're gonna ask me, like, hey, Skarrow, like, do you want to go run a raid right now with a random group of people? Probably not doing Salvation's Edge. I'll go do like a Deepstone Crypt, or like one of these raids where you can turn your brain off and just kind of vibe through. And it's you know, Deepstone's a beautiful raid. It has pretty fun mechanics, and top 5 raids of all time in my opinion. I love Deepstone, but Salvation's Edge, like, while it's not like a casual raiding experience, and it's not just like one of these things that I'm always down to run, I think that's still a testament to it. The fact that it is, I still love it, you know? It's not Garden. Like, hey, Skarrow, do you want to go run a Garden? No. No, I don't. That's not because it's tedious. That's not because I don't want to do it with randoms. I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Salvations is very different. It is an experience that I have loved almost every part of. It is a very interesting raiding experience. I think all of the encounters have their own unique feeling to them. Maybe like first and third could have been differentiated a little bit, but especially second, fourth, Verity, and the Witness, they are just all top tier raid encounters in my opinion. Like, they're all just great. There are very long traversal sections between especially second and third encounter, and then there's a pretty long one between fourth and fifth, but none of them really, like, you know, Ghost of the Deep is a really great dungeon, but the underwater sections are ridiculous. They really kill the replayability of that raid. For me, I've done this raid almost 30 times, almost probably 25 times front to back, and I never was like, man, these jump puzzles are killing me. It just kind of felt like a natural part of the experience. And yeah, they're a little long and they're really scary during the flawless raid because your team can't leave and it's really easy to die, and all the doors are friendship doors, so every single person has to make it through the jump puzzles. They're very intimidating, but they're not, I don't know, I don't think they detracted from the experience, and I didn't mind doing them every single time. So I think as a package, it's a very cohesive package, has a lot of identity, and it's just really fun. And even though it forces you to lock in a lot more than other raids did at this point, I really enjoy that personally. So that is something that I think is a testament to Salvation's Edge. You know, it's not something I want to do every single day with random people, but it's definitely an experience where, man, it's a raid, and that feels really good. I think all of the challenges were really interesting. First encounter, kill the second over a low champion every time. Second encounter, anyone who dunks before final boss has to have all 3 buffs. Third encounter, you can't pick up the same buff twice in a row. Fourth encounter, you have to use the 3D shapes the second time. You have to use all 6 of the 3D shapes to leave before you use another one again. Go watch the Dado video. And the witness encounter, all 6 glyphs have to be broken at the same time. Like, pretty fun challenges in their own right. I don't think any of them were too annoying or too difficult. The one-off challenges were pretty good as well. As a whole, like, I think this package that the raid has is really cool. And the red border puzzle being the most unique yet. You know, there's 5 rooms, 1, 3, and 5 are for the red border. And 2 and 4 being for the raid lore and also the raid mods. I think that was kind of cool. I still wish raid mods were like, there was more of a reason to like get them. And, you know, but in terms of like actually getting them in the red border puzzles, I really liked all of that. So I think as a whole, great experience. And definitely I would consider it to be like top of my raid tier list in terms of like favorite raids, not top of like, hey, Skarrow, want to go do a raid tier list. Those are 2 very different things, but I definitely consider it to be like the pinnacle of raids in the Destiny franchise. Now, my complaints with it, I do have a couple, 2 main ones. One, there are a lot of bugs in this raid, and they're really like encounter specific and seemed almost designed to screw you up, even though they're bugs. So, you know, the prevalent ones in the second encounter, sometimes when you go to dunk, it'll only take 1 of your buffs. That'll actually happen, you know, in the first 3 encounters, but it really matters in the second encounter when you're doing challenge, because you can do challenge correctly and the game is just like, actually, no, you know, and you just fail it. That really sucks. Verity, sometimes the knights just stop spawning. I think it's if you have a buff and then you get witnessed out. There's a couple bugs like that going out the full thing. And probably the most disappointing bug. The excision key didn't work for like a month. But the most disappointing bug is the raid memento is still broken after they have claimed to fix it at least once, I think multiple times. I don't have a picture of the memento because it's broken, but it doesn't really even matter. And this is my second complaint, because the memento sucks. It is, in my opinion, easily the most disappointing raid memento, or the most disappointing memento ever. We've been asking for a memento for a very long time. I thought it was like understood that we meant like a usable one. It's just not good. I want to try to find like good examples to put this on, but it is this kind of dark marble. It's just not good. This is not a craftable commemoration. Let me put it on this. It's just really disappointing that, like, what are we doing? I just don't even know. I think Apex looks all right. This will kind of showcase how just bland it is. Like, there's white marble, there's dark marble, there's no animations. You know what should have been the raid memento? This is a very easy question to answer. This should have been the raid memento. Right. Give me a sec. Technical difficulties. This one, Resonant Cell Weave. The shader that you get for getting the 2 secret chests once. Because maybe it's not the best shader in the entire world, but it is unique. And it kind of plays into the theme of the raid a little bit. This would have been... It's already made. Like, why is this not the memento? I don't really understand. But I also wish the title instead of Iconoclast was Edgelord. Salvation's Edgelord. I think that would have been cool. But those are just like, they're minor nitpicks. It doesn't really affect my overall experience. I just feel like for this raid, which is easily the toughest experience that we have in the game right now, it would have been cool if the cosmetic rewards had a little bit more to them. But other than that, absolutely amazing raid. I've loved, you know, doing it every week, and even though it takes a lot of energy and I'm mentally fatigued by the end of the night, I think it was definitely time we got an experience like that within Destiny. And I think it paid off, and I think Bungie did, and the Raid and Dungeon team did an absolutely fantastic job with it. So overall, Salvation's Edge, a 9.5 out of 10 for me personally, and right at the top of my Raid tier list, I think. So that's what I think. I know other people are gonna have different opinions if maybe you don't have as consistent of a team and you have to rely on LFG, or you're not as experienced of a raider, maybe you don't have as fond opinions of it. Let me know down below. But yeah, that's kind of my recap of the raid and where I'm sitting with it, and I'm pretty happy about it. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys very soon. Have a great night.